You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wing Gaming, and some of you on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with the Let's Play episode of Arches. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm Chan, you are up, and let's go. Alrighty. They'd had a bit of an argument, and Cameron only agreed to stay behind when Dev promised not to go back to that forest to text Artie again. Now Cameron sits here moping, the feeling of a lopsided relationship returning. I suck at guitar, he mumbles to himself quietly out of habit, knowing people didn't like hearing it since he was good enough, which had been his goal. All of his singer-songwriter idols played guitar, and he'd wanted to be just like them. He'd forced himself to learn how to become good enough, with all the awkward fingerings, the constant tuning, and the pain of holding down steel strings with his finger pads, even after he built up calluses. That's how he described guitar in general. Pain. He preferred piano, and that's what he used to write all of his music. But the devastatingly sad men of the 90s Northwest indie music scene didn't play piano, they played guitar, because they were also rugged and tough, molded by the logging towns they originated from. It turns out that one's image is just as important in indie as it is in pop, despite the former trying to convince itself it isn't. So Cameron had tried to conform to that, and in the end it hadn't mattered. The hours and hours dedicated to learning the instrument through high school and college now felt wasted. Still, the feeling of the instrument is familiar in his paws, even if his fingers are already getting sore. He tries to think of one of the less embarrassing songs, one of the ones where he wasn't just wearing the influence of cloudy, dreary northwestern cities on his sleeve. Enough though, that's where he's from, even though that's where he's from. He tried and failed to duplicate their poetic and opaque lyricism. Instead, he found himself slipping back again and again to the style of his own generation. While his idols of the 90s wove lyrics that forced the listener to delve into something complex, to find meaning in the metaphors and symbolism, singer-songwriters born in the 90s like himself presented their lyrics in a more literal, honest way that often described specific situations with seemingly nothing hidden. To Cameron, it's two sides of the same coin. Instead of discovering meaning and complexity, it's about discovering complexity and simplicity. He sighs, deciding it's tuned well enough. He glances up, making sure Dev isn't heading back before playing. He's badly out of practice, but he starts to slowly warm up. Cameron sings quietly, almost under his breath. This particular song got the attention of an independent label on the West Coast after one of their scouts heard it on the college radio station. They'd signed him in his junior year of college. Looking back, it was the high point of his life. Dev had celebrated in earnest, happily telling him that he'd make more money than he himself ever would. But what Cameron didn't realize was that even after being signed, he could still be dropped without releasing any of his music. And after what was probably the lowest point in his life, they did just that. Dropped over text message with his agent saying the demos he'd made in studio weren't up to their quality standard. That hurt. A lot. Because he knew it was true. He'd been nervous the entire time, and his output wasn't even close to what he was capable of. Though he tried to comfort himself with the idea that most musicians go it alone these days, his own postings on the internet barely got more than a few dozen listens. Oh wow, that's all the way open. Okay. Alright. 1 second now. Then he finally realized that he was in for the wrong reason. His peers just liked playing music, throwing stuff out into the ether whether anyone heard it or not. Cameron needed an audience to stay motivated, to be famous, so in a way, fucking deserved it. At least Devin never brought it up. Cameron stops playing, having seen brownish fur at the corner of his eye. He thinks it's Dev and immediately feels his face flush, freezing, just sitting there. This is why he didn't play or sing in a serious way these days. Now it just feels like showing off a skill that he was never really skilled at in the first place. But after a while, he doesn't hear anything. No voice, no footsteps, and biting through his embarrassment, Cam looks up the road where he'd been certain that his boyfriend had been watching him. Dev? The silence is heavy and thick. A weird feeling and everything went real quiet. Cameron stares up the empty road, the feeling of unease growing until he finally shoves his guitar to the side and pulls out his phone, tapping on a mindless gaming app to distract himself. Nope, not doing this again, not right now. And even though the road remains empty, and even though the sun shines brightly above, illuminating everything around him, the feeling of what is becoming a very familiar dread continues to grow. Then that light shining down on everything changes, shifting to a more golden glow. What the hell's going on? Cameron had a few bad trips in the past, shrooms being the worst, and that was what gave him his first panic attack. In a strange way, this feels very similar. Please, not now. I have control, and I'm saying not now. No control. Shit! That voice, well, that feeling, it instantly made all the fur on the back of his neck stand up. Cameron starts walking up the road toward Echo just under a mile away. Dev, come back now, please! The panic creeps up his neck like he's drowning. Until last night, he hadn't had a panic attack in over 2 years. Now it's like his brain has relearned the spiraling process of gasping for air that's readily available, but still feels out of reach. He fights the urge, counting, trying to remember the pace of Dev's steady breaths. Hadn't he wanted to reject the idea that he needed Dev to face his fears? Doesn't he know how to handle this? How to do it safely? Cameron also knows that running to Dev will only make things worse for his boyfriend. Did he want to stress him out even more? The coyote stops, then turns around slowly. Just like that, the feelings of panic and terror slowly fade away to be replaced by a feeling of purpose. Something solid, something resolute in its existence, something that's already happened. Nothing can be done to change it. A feeling of acceptance. Oh wow, that's really beautiful art. Cameron's walk slows to a more measured pace, mirroring someone just outside of his view. In another place? No, in the same exact place, just in a different time. Cameron knows what's happening, and he questions what he's about to do. With this new feeling of calm and assuredness, the coyote decides to let it happen. Dev didn't want him doing this because he's had a change of heart, but so has Cameron, and this is his choice to make. So he lets it happen, and he senses this person. A girl, a feline, walking just like him, years and years ago. She tries to keep her sobs quiet, walking along the road by the lake. She'd been looking forward to this for 2 months. She'd saved up money from babysitting jobs to buy her own dress, her own fake jewelry, and her makeup. Her father had found the makeup a week ago and threw it away, telling her only bad things happened to girls who wore makeup. Even then, she'd still had the dance to look forward to. But now James, her ex from last year, had ruined it. He'd shown up drunk, proposed to her, then cussed out her new boyfriend, whom she'd only been seeing for a month now until he left. At least now she's glad she doesn't have to makeup on with how wet her eyes are. This had been the last dance of the year at Echo High, and she's worried she's going to graduate with no boyfriend at all, no money to go anywhere. Lost in her thoughts, she notices fast-pounding footsteps only seconds before it happens. Oh shit. Before it happens. She sees James as it happens. She realizes what's happening in that same moment. Knowing him, this is actually something she expected. In that moment, she decides that maybe this is for the best. Cameron? Whoa! Lost in the vision, Cameron feels himself recoil from something touching him. Cameron loses his balance, windmilling his arms comically, and he has a split second to recognize Dev. He bears his paw out like he's been resting it on the coyote's arm. The look of shock is mirrored on his boyfriend's face, before he goes over the edge and straight into the lake. Cameron! The coyote expects to go under and stay under, just like the girl from Echo High. But a jolt goes through his body as his rear lands on a rocky surface, just a foot underwater, and Cameron cries out loudly. Fuck! Cameron looks up to see Dev getting ready to jump in. I'm fine! At first, Cameron is just embarrassed, like he got caught doing something he shouldn't, which he knows is the case in Dev's mind. It's not as deep as it used to be. What? As he climbs out with Dev's help, though, that embarrassment changes to anger. The coyote grunts and snarls quietly as he automatically starts stripping off his clothes, his plaid shirt and jeans sticking to his soggy fur. Dev hovers over him, trying to help but mostly getting in the way. Dev, you have a list of people who died here, right? What? What are you talking about? You just fell into the lake. Stop talking about this shitty town and let me make sure you're... Oh, that's real rich coming from you. I've been saying that to you for the past 5 years, and yet here we are. So no, I won't stop. Give me the list or I'll just look it up myself. Dev glares, making himself look big, but Cameron doesn't budge, even though in that moment he realizes his phone got wet, and he can only hope that it's still going to work after this. Second, y'all. Alright, guys and gals, and we are back. Okay. Alright. Dev glares, making himself look big, but Cameron doesn't budge, even though in that moment he realizes his phone already did that. Okay. After a few seconds, the bear deflates. Please, I just want to be out of here. I'll do whatever you want afterwards. Let's just go home first. That cools Cameron's outrage for the time being. Never having seen Dev look so defeated. We'll go home, and I'm sorry I'm being like this, but you have to understand that this is changing everything for me. I just need this for a little bit, okay? Okay, but I'm not leaving your side until we're out of this town, okay? Didn't I tell you this was a bad idea at the very start? And Cameron tries to lighten the mood a bit, not liking the conflicts they're having on this little trip. They hardly had any before coming here. Now they have such different ideas of what they should be doing. Now it's like they're in a tug of war. Dev takes out his phone, bringing up the document he'd been using to map out the supernatural happenings and history of Echo. So, it was a girl, teenager, a bobcat from, like, the 50s, I think? A student from Echo High School. Dev raises his brows, scrolling slowly on his phone, then he looks back up. Yeah, June, 1954. An 18-year-old bobcat drowns in the lake in what is thought to be a suicide. So the fucker got away with it. Who? How does your tail feel, by the way? Dev is running his paw along his tail, feeling out the vertebra. Cameron finds the bear's interest in all of this more and more irritating, especially now that he's found what he feels is like his purpose. He can help somehow. Dev hits a bruised spot on his tail, and the coyote winces before shoving his paw away. Ow! Not now, Dev, listen! Her ex-boyfriend killed her. I saw him run up and push her into the lake. Do you have to experience that? Do you feel okay? Dev, I'm not important here. This is about someone who got murdered and some piece of shit got away with it. First of all, don't call yourself unimportant. You're still alive and you need to keep it that way by not falling into lakes because of these awful visions. I need to tell her family, or at least someone, so people know the truth. Devin frowns deeply at the coyote. Listen, babe, I know you can see things that I can't and all, but I gotta be honest and say that no one's gonna care. They're dead. The girl and more than likely her ex, too. It's short-sighted as all hell, Dev. He could definitely still be alive, having lived a full life after murdering someone. And she might have siblings who are still alive, or I don't know. I think someone probably gives enough of a shit to want to know. And then, what? You go up to them and tell them you're psychic and that you had a vision of their loved one being murdered? Besides, I wouldn't be surprised if everyone knew what happened. A lot of times they do, there just isn't always enough evidence. Cameron feels his face get hot, glaring at the asphalt. You wanted me to do this, and you wanted answers. Why are you holding me back now? Because I'm terrified right now. Of this town, of the ghosts, of you getting hurt somehow, because of the rates things are going on, that's what's probably gonna happen. I want to know where Lupita is, but she died because I made stupid mistakes. I can't have the same thing happen to you. Cameron's face gets hot again as he realizes Dev is about to cry, and his resolve wavers. He starts to step forward to hold Dev like the bear had held the coyote so many times, but then the two of them look up to see a rather small sedan pulling up the road, a figure inside waving enthusiastically through the windshield. What the hell? Where's this truck? Huh? Oh, hello there. Devon, Cameron, sorry I'm late. Had trouble finding this road, and then I had trouble driving on it. Then I cut you in the middle of some... Where the hell is your truck? Huh? Look at my Jeep. I told you I was stuck, man. Well, this is not the reunion I was expecting. I thought you just wanted to ride. Besides, even... God, I keep defaulting to Irish. Besides, even if I pulled you out, your Jeep's fucked. I can tell from here. Be nice, Dev. He's doing us a favor. Alright, y'all, I'm actually gonna pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to have a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks to our 3 gold tier members, Zeke, Toby, and Blue Wolf Alpha. Y'all are awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to Ultimate Tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our unsafe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!